This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Harry and Meghan are back in distraction mode again. Once more, they're seizing the moment to ride on the royal family's coattails to promote, you guessed it, themselves. Nothing new, same old, same old. They're splashed across every headline this morning simply for showing up at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party. Like, seriously, who the F cares? The crowd they surround themselves with, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and the rest of that old Hollywood circle, doesn't exactly carry the same weight with Americans anymore. Like, Meghan's always 15 years behind. Times have changed, and people are wide awake as to how performative and self-serving that celebrity class has become. So why are Harry and Meghan back in our faces? Well, part of it, I'm sure, is Meghan's never-ending thirst for relevance. I think it also has to do with the bad press that Meghan has received over the last couple days pertaining to a staff member that quit. So the report that's going around is that Emily Robinson, who was the director of their communications, quit after only being on the job for 4 months, working for the Harkles. Now, of course, like all the rest of the staff that have left Harry and Meghan, we're never going to hear what actually transpired or happened or the reason for why she really left after 4 months. And that's because Harry and Meghan make sure that they get these people to sign airtight NDAs. So this saturation of Meghan Markle in the media going to Kris Jenner's 70th birthday is really to suppress this other stuff, I think. But I can't help think that there's more to this, maybe a calculated distraction even, something meant to pull the spotlight away from a bad storm that is certainly heading in Prince Harry's way. In the Telegraph today, they are reporting that Washington has their eyes on one of the British nonprofits Harry and Meghan's Archewell Fugazi Public Charity have been in collusion with. And what began as a visa decision, I promise you, is going to reverberate far beyond the immigration desk. So I share with great pleasure that the White House is getting ready to revoke the U.S. visa of this arrogant prick, Imran Ahmed of the CCDH. Otherwise known as the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which was the transatlantic campaign group accused by Trump allies and other conservatives like myself of pushing censorship and targeting American voices. So yeah, according to this article, it looks like this motherfucker is about to be deported. So this article says the White House is poised to revoke the visa of the boss of a campaign group founded by Sir Keir Starmer's chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney. Imran Ahmed, the chief executive of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, otherwise known as CCDH, is facing deportation from the United States after his charity pushed for restrictions on what can be published online. The CCDH has campaigned for the deplatforming of Trump administration officials like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and tighter policing of offensive content posted online. Mr. McSweeney helped found the organization before he quit to go work for Sir Keir Starmer. The organization's demands have raised alarm within Donald Trump's administration. Mr. Ahmed, a former Labor Party aide, has now been placed at the top of the list of people being considered for visa restrictions. If I had to guess, the names on that list most likely include Prince Harry's as well. But that's just my opinion. The state and justice departments, along with the White House, are understood to be weighing the decision to restrict Mr. Ahmed's visa. A source with knowledge of the discussion said they want to send a message that they're not having it, they're not happy, and they are very actively considering visa restrictions on him. The move is the latest example of Mr. Trump's willingness to clamp down on British nationals complicit in censoring American citizens. So y'all know where this is headed, right? Earlier this year, Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, warned that foreign nationals face being banned from the United States if they are found to have breached the free speech rights of American citizens. The CCDH, which has charitable status in the U.S., claims to disrupt the spread of digital hate and misinformation, with branches in both the UK and the U.S. Mr. Ahmed, who works in the Washington office but is understood to run the entire transnational operation, has found himself in the crosshairs of some of the president's closest allies, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk. In 2021, the group named Mr. Kennedy, the current health secretary, as one of its disinformation dozen, a list of 12 people it claimed should have their accounts removed from social media for posting anti-vaccine content. Leaked documents, thought to have been drawn up by the CCDH, also reportedly listed Kill Musk's Twitter as one of the group's annual priorities last year. I'd like to remind everyone that Archewell Fugazi Public Charity's name had been also found in those leaked documents, confirming Harry and Meghan's ties to this organization. The nonprofit published a series of highly critical reports linking Mr. Musk's takeover of the platform, now known as X, to rising misinformation and hate speech that was spreading like wildfire. Mr. Musk, the U.S. president's former efficiency czar, later sued the company, but the claim was thrown out by a judge. The tech billionaire subsequently claimed the CCDH was violating laws against foreign interference in U.S. elections. The move is part of an American campaign to step up pressure on Britain's Online Safety Act. The law, which regulates online speech, allows the UK government to levy massive fines on US companies such as Apple, Truth Social, and X if it finds the rules on hate speech have been broken. Those in the president's inner circle see the potential penalties as an unwarranted foreign intervention into American free speech. It has sparked outrage from congressmen and legal experts in the U.S. who say the overreach is a threat by the U.K. to silence America's companies and citizens if they refuse to comply with the British government's view of what is acceptable to post online. You don't think the U.S. government doesn't know what Prince Harry and his bitch wife have been up to these past 5 years? I mean, how could they not? I have so many wonderful people who watch this channel who have been sharing this information over the past 4 years. Of course they know. And I do believe something is coming imminently for Prince Harry. The United States has made it very clear that we're not going to be giving any special treatment or protection to members of the royal family. And while we all know that this summons to Andrew is not going to go anywhere, let it be used as a message to Prince Harry, showing him that no one is above the law. And when the time comes, I guarantee justice will be served. Now, the moment you see people like this, Niall Gardner, suggesting that Harry testify before Congress about his so-called drug use and his visa application, to me shows the direction in where this is going. Setting the narrative and getting it ready, I believe, could be the excuse to deport Prince Harry and not reveal any of this other stuff. So Niall, if this is what you're trying to do, all in the name to protect the crown, it's not going to work. You're a little late, buddy. Because this train has already left the station and the government knows that Harry was involved with all of this shit. And I find it really interesting that Niall Gardner never once took the time to respond or even speak about Harry's involvement with censoring Americans. After all, he works for the Heritage Foundation, which is supposed to be defending American constitutional rights. But here he thinks that there's a far stronger case for Prince Harry to be called to testify before Congress about his illegal drug use than actually Andrew coming forward and talking about his relationship with the late pedophile. You see, Niall Gardner had every opportunity to take what we were telling him seriously, and he chose not to, and he looked the other way. Instead, Niall Gardner is always busy commenting about Meghan Markle. So the question that I pose to everyone is Niall Gardner at the Heritage Foundation to protect the crown? Because it sure seems like it. At the Heritage Foundation, the Constitution is the guiding principle for their mission, which is to formulate and promote conservative public policies based on the principles of free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, traditional American values, and a strong national defense. Everything that Harry has been doing here has been undermining all of that. It's not going to be a good look for Niall Gardner when all of this comes to the surface because he was told and he chose to ignore it. So like for Harry, all this PR, being with the veterans, wearing that poppy, it's not fooling anyone. People definitely see the hypocrisy. Considering the state of Canada, the UK, the EU, with rights being taken away, especially freedom of speech rights in your home country, I think this year there definitely has been a shift in sentiment against the leaders of the West, as well as towards the king and how he's just looked the other way and continues to back and support this globalist agenda. These WEF globalist leaders don't give a shit about destroying the country. This account on X was spot on in what he said. Keir Starmer, Tony Blair, Sadiq Khan, Gordon Brown, all standing together for Remembrance Sunday, honoring the very men who fought for a Britain they've spent decades dismantling. And it's true. It's such a slap in the face to these veterans who either sacrifice their lives as well as those who are injured and handicapped as a result of fighting for their freedoms, only for them to turn around and take them away from the people. Seriously, I don't understand how the politicians in the UK sleep at night when they've left the door wide open for all these illegal, undocumented people coming in to terrorize the homeland. So the question is, why is this all happening at once across the West? Obviously, it's coordinated. All of King Charles's realms seem to be declining. What's going on? Well, I think, based off of looking at what the World Economic Forum has been trying to do in this global Great Reset, is to collapse all of these systems in order to start all over. Meaning, getting everybody on digital ID, controlling where they live, controlling where they travel, controlling what you can own, controlling means of production. Yes, if that sounds like communism, it is. And they also want to control the money. And for you idiots, if you think that that will never happen, wake up, because it already has started. The United States is fighting like hell to stop it, at least preserving freedom of speech to give us a voice. Europe and the UK, Canada, Australia, they're taking that away. And you see that happening. That's not conspiracy. That's not me going off the rails. That's fact. And you all were warned, but were too distracted by the BS that Harry and Meghan were putting out. What these two assholes did was intentional. For anyone that says the royal family didn't know, wake the fuck up. Trump is not going to save this ginger prick. Things are about to go down. Losing the titles are the least of this couple's worries. Believe me on this one. If only Harry had listened to his brother. Just think where he would have been today. Most likely, it would have been right there next to his brother. What a dumb effing fool. That's just my opinion, but what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!
Such a fraud.